4, 3,
Open Bill.
2.
Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Here comes Chicago. Jordan. Open.
The Jayhawks of Kansas face the team that's picked to be #1 in the nation, the Tar Heels of North Carolina. For the Carolina Tar Heels, starting his first game ever, Mike Jordan, big starting assignment.
He told me he wanted to be the best player ever at North Carolina. I said, well, you've got to work harder than you did in high school. And he said, I'm going to show you nobody will ever outwork me.
What do you think of Mike Jordan?
He really is a good player, and under a lot of pressure today, I thought he performed. He's an extraordinary athlete. He's going to be a great one.
Wilmington, North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan.
So many things have been said about him. That's pretty heavy metal for a youngster of 18 years old. He is talented, and he really is kind of going against the system.
If you put your mind to doing whatever you want to do,
Jordan's open.
good things can happen. If I had any doubts about playing on college level or playing with the big guys, that shot gave me the confidence that I belong where I was.
Bullseye. 15 seconds on the clock. The Superdome is in a frenzy.
Before anything else happened, that shot gave me the idea that I could be better than what people think, surpass any expectations that I may have for myself. That's the day that my name went from Mike Jordan to Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan is very determined and very competitive, traits he acquired while playing one-on-one with his brother back in Wilmington.
It was like Cowboys and Indians. We used to get out there every day. I see him out there playing, and I'll be in the house, and then I go out there and play with him. And we get to a situation where it gets so intense that we both want to win, and we do all kinds of things, push, hold, foul, but sometimes we even got into fights, and that's part of the game.
I came from Wilmington. We had 2 channels, channel ABC, NBC, that was it. I never saw NBA sports at all when I grew up. I got 2 brothers, James and Larry. They gave me all I could ever ask for as a brother in terms of competition. My sister, who was 1 year younger than me, she took extra classes to graduate from high school with me, to go to University of North Carolina with me, and to graduate prior to me. And you guys sit and ask me where my competition or my competitive nature came from. It came from them. So they started the fire in me. As I moved on in my career, people added wood to that fire.
And are we really supposed to believe that Michael Jordan in high school couldn't get a date, got cut from the varsity team?
It's true. A lot of guys picked on me. The girls they would laugh at that. And right then I was dead. I couldn't get a date with anybody.
Was a guy, when I got cut, he made the team on the varsity team. When he made the team and I didn't, I wanted to prove not just to myself, but to the coach. I wanted to make sure you understood you made a mistake, dude. Coach Smith, the day that he was on the Sports Illustrated and he named 4 starters and he didn't name me, that burned me up because I thought I belonged on that Sports Illustrated. Now, he had his own vision about giving a freshman that exposure, and I totally understand that, but I deserve to be on that Sports Illustrated.
You were there at North Carolina when it all got started. What was that like?
It was very interesting because obviously he wasn't a player that he became, but you saw all of the qualities that you would want in a player that he had and he possessed. But he coupled them and put them all together.
Here comes Carolina, down to Jordan, yes!
Because I didn't think he was going to be as good as he is now, to be honest. I really didn't think that. Michael was kind of like a little bit of a second fiddle.
Jordan's got the jumper.
What I do remember is playing a lot of times in the summer league, and Michael would always, after the game, stand in the middle of the court while everyone would go get water. He'd be doing that after every game. So one day I just like, Mike, why are you standing in the half court? He's like, because when everybody's off the court, I want to say that I'm still on the court more than anyone. So I was like, okay, let me stand in half court with Mike.
Jordan just goes up to whatever height he needs. There is just no limit to what Michael can do.
He was just gifted. He had a desire that was different from everybody else. This may be the best Spur I've ever seen.
I talked to Coach this morning, and he helped me. I felt that would be better for me to start now.
And now we are ready for the third pick.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan.
So Michael Jordan, who right now is in Wilmington getting ready for the upcoming Olympics, and this man is a can't miss.
The kid is just an absolutely great kid.
Michael is the right-hander who's showing you that he can use the left hand. Watch Jordan. Well, he sells some tickets in Chicago. He sells some tickets. I hope to tell you.
If I were going to pick 3 or 4 best athletes I've ever seen play basketball, he'd be one of them. I think he's the best athlete I've ever seen play basketball, bar none.
The man could get an elbow over the back of the board, Billy.
If I were going to pick people with the best ability I'd ever seen play the game, he'd be one of them. If I were going to pick the best competitors that I'd ever seen play, he'd be one of them. So in the categories of competitiveness, ability, skill, and then athletic ability, he's the best athlete.
Here's the play he created. Look at the hands getting away, Michael Jordan.
He's one of the best competitors.
Espectacular jugada de Michael Jordan.
He's one of the most skilled players. And that, to me, makes him the best basketball player that I've ever seen play.
I think the Olympic was kind of pre-professional level.
Jordan hangs in midair.
It was fast-paced, it was physical, and that's just the type of NBA game.
Slapped from behind and knocked out of
You know, coming on this level is a brand new start for me, and I have to start from the bottom and work my way up. So, yeah, I think the hard work is ahead of me, and I'm willing to take on that challenge and go out and play the best I can.
The U.S. has its 9th gold medal.
Olympics was a big dream come true for me. You know, a lot of players don't get the chance to represent the United States, and I did, and I was very happy to do that. And I had to get ready for my professional career.
Well, Michael, you've got a great opportunity to step in there and win a city that is crying for a winner. That is a fabulous sports town in Chicago, and with a little help from a fellow named Michael Jordan, perhaps you can turn that Bulls thing around.
And now the noise factor begins to really increase. Here is the man. They call him Mr. Jordan in Chicago.
A lot of pressure's been brought to bear on this young man's shoulder. I can go in and contribute and maybe turn it around. You know, I'm looking forward to that.
I think a lot of people around the NBA are talking about Michael Jordan.
Michael got to realize that he's not 7 foot, so he's not going to carry a team in the NBA. It takes more than one guy to win games.
I really don't think that in the NBA anymore there's really not any such thing as a one-man team. And I don't think that you can come in expecting one guy to turn the whole thing around.
And all your media naysayers, scoring champion can't win an NBA title, or you're not as good as Magic Johnson, you're not as good as Larry Bird. You're good, but you're not as good as those guys. You know, I had to listen to all this, and that put so much wood on that fire that it kept me each and every day trying to get better as a basketball player. I'm trying to become the best that I can. For someone like me, you look for any kind of messages that people may say or do to get you motivated to play the game of basketball at the highest level.
Can you believe that? Oh, listen to the crowd here now. Everybody is up on their feet.
Because that is when I feel like I excel at my best.
I think he will be a great addition to the Bulls, and he should draw fans to the game.
And make Chicago again a power, I think. He's such a great influence.
Michael Jordan's caliber will excel under pressure, whereas a lot of athletes will not.
He is supposed to be that Moses to bring them out of the wilderness.
Jordan, there's the slam.
This guy is tough. He's tough.
Listen to this crowd, Michael Jordan. And that's what they came to see today.
I'm sure that one day he should be in the Hall of Fame.
It's a boom. What a jam!
First award honors the new kid on the block, the NBA Rookie of the Year, Michael Jordan.
I've never seen either one of them play. I'm anxious to get to camp to see what happens.
It's going to be a great season. You got your tickets?
Scottie Pippen was the underrated, underappreciated Robin to Michael's Batman.
I won all these championships, but I didn't win without Scottie Pippen.
I would never be able to find another support system, another partner in the game of basketball like Scottie Pippen. Whenever they speak Michael Jordan, they should speak Scottie Pippen.
Mission control, ready for launch.
That brought Dominique to his feet.
They gave him a 50. They gave Jordan a 50. He defends his championship.
The Bulls have 3 seconds to try a shot and try to win the game.
When we think of Michael Jordan, it's just that competitive fire.
Now, how will Cleveland defend Jordan?
His ability to take over games, his ability to want to have that last shot.
Jordan to the circle, puts the shot in the air. Good! The game's over, and the Bulls have won.
I believe that every night he stepped on the floor, he put on the cape.
Phil Jackson has been a very integral part of this organization. Welcome, Coach. Let's go win the championship.
How high can this man fly? Superman faces his toughest test.
We knew how important to the NBA it was to get Michael to go to the next level. And all of a sudden, there was this little team in Detroit who just messed up the whole story.
Oh, I hated him. And yeah, he carries even to this day. They made it personal. They physically beat the shit out of us.
Each and every game that we played against Detroit, we considered a war.
These young kids don't have what it takes.
And Michael Jordan goes down hard.
The game that the Pistons played was rugged, it was tough, it was gritty, and then here comes Michael. Michael is art.
For Piston captain and Chicago native Isaiah Thomas, beating Jordan and the Bulls was personal.
It affected me because as a kid, I always wanted to play for the Chicago Bulls.
Isaiah was a great star in Chicago, and Michael walks and just takes Chicago away from him.
Your hometown fans just despise you.
The Jordan rules.
Jordan rule?
The Jordan rules. Is that something you guys made up?
As soon as he steps in the paint, hit him.
When he comes to the basket, he ain't gonna dunk. We're gonna hit you, and you're gonna be on the ground.
How bad do you want it? Are you willing to be injured to score a basket?
Well, the Pistons have moved on, but you really got a feel for this man right here.
It's over. The Pistons return to the NBA Finals.
For the Pistons, nothing but another world championship will do.
The pain of losing to Detroit brought a fury into that season that they had not had.
You know, I want to start fighting back.
It was difficult, but I'm very happy that we went through those because it taught us to understand what winning was all about.
It is a matchup so natural, so provocative, that basketball fans have argued it for years. Who is the better player, they've asked. But of course, there's been no answer. Until now. This is the place where fantasy meets reality. Michael versus Magic, with the game's biggest prize at stake.
The NBA is a league of stars, and none shine brighter than Michael Jordan.
Even though they may have that experience, you can have that hunger.
John Paxson, who ripped this game open.
He trusts his teammate to make the shot.
Exactly what Phil was trying to get Michael to understand. Hey, these other guys can help you out.
Paxson! Yes! John Paxson again! And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
People ask me, can I fly? Do I like to fly? Well, I think as a team, we've shown people that we can fly.
Tonight begins the 1992 NBA Finals.
The Chicago Bulls, the Portland Trailblazers, the two best teams in the NBA.
All eyes will be focused on the matchup of Drexler and Jordan.
Clyde was a threat. But me being compared to him, I took offense to that.
The two best in the game, but I'm not getting into a war of words with Mike.
Michael didn't want anybody to have nothing over him.
Jordan for three! Yes!
He said, you know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to give it to this dude.
That is an
And every time he hit a three, he glanced over at me. And he was like, I'm killing this dude.
And just let us know that, hey, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling good. It's my game.
Horace Grant with his slam.
Based on where I was playing at that time, it wasn't even close.
If you turn your head for a second, Jordan will back cut you, go to the rim. It's just a matter of lobbing the thing up on top.
And here's Paxson. John Paxson.
Pippen shows him this is the way to the basket, big guy.
The Chicago Bulls have won the NBA championship for the second straight season.
In 1992, for the first time, a team of mostly NBA players will defend America's Olympic pride.
Those other countries were using pros, playing against 18, 19-year-old kids. That is really unfair.
There's a lot of egos in one gym and on one team. Everybody wanted their form to shine. We wanted to showcase to the fans who would be representing them.
Magic Johnson and Oranga shaking hands after the shot.
The Cuban team spontaneously drops to its knees as if 12 popes had come by on Easter Sunday. At that point, the idea that this is merely a basketball game has been ripped asunder.
It was a surreal feeling. You're like, dude, we're here to kick y'all behind. And they want to take pictures with you.
I kept thinking that the attention would dissipate. They're going to play the first game. They're going to win by 60. People are going to go back and watch Trek. It didn't. It kept building and building and building.
Workers were trying to get autographs. The security people were trying to get autographs. All the athletes were standing on side like a parade.
Incredible skill, and it was just such a pleasure to watch.
People perceived us as being superheroes.
The guy on the bench is taking pictures.
Guys played the best basketball you've ever seen in your life. It was literally like great poetry or great art.
At times you feel you're watching a performance, a concert, rather than a basketball competition.
Including everybody. We did it as a true team.
The U.S. has defeated Croatia 117-85, and they have won the gold here in Barcelona.
I will say this one thing about Michael Jordan. I've been around other celebrities in my life. I've never seen people react like they do to him. People go crazy when they see him.
In every corner of the world, there was someone who just wanted to see him.
It's Michael Jordan!
No one had the sort of pull, the gravity that Michael Jordan had.
Larry and I were talking, and Michael walks in, and he says, "It's a new sheriff in town."
One of the most elusive accomplishments in all of sports. With two hard-won championship banners giving testament to their determination and resolve, the Bulls prepared to be different. The 1993 season was the culmination of a 3-year odyssey and a personal journey to their place in history.
We were very determined because if there's anybody you want to beat, it's Michael Jordan.
Charles was the MVP that year.
I was a little bit upset that I didn't get the MVP that year. You can have that. I'm gonna get this. And that motivated me to attack. I played as well as I could play.
From the outside, Barkley.
And Michael just outplayed me. Michael had that ability where he was not going to let them lose.
Michael Jordan answers. Here is Jordan. Here's Paxson for three. aside from Jordan. A three-point shot by John Paxson, the game winner. The Chicago Bulls have made it 3 straight NBA championships.
I have no problem losing to Michael. Losing to Michael, there's no shame in that. Sports are like a gunfight. And we lost to the fastest gun.
I am now joined by James Jordan, father of Michael. So for all the parents out there, was there one point when you thought that Michael was going to be as great a player as he is?
No, there was no way you could tell. You know, I always thought Michael would play baseball. Of course, he had that year that he grew so much, and it's just been a joy watching him develop into the player that the world can see today.
All right, hopefully we can watch him all the way through the playoffs.
I hope so. If he do, I'll be right there. I'll be his #1 fan all the way through.
All right, thanks, James.
James Jordan, the father of Bulls superstar Michael Jordan, has not been seen for 3 weeks.
4 people have been arrested for stripping and stealing the elder Jordan's car, found last week in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Mr. Jordan had pulled off the side of the road to rest for a while, and he was shot to death while in his car.
Throughout the morning, we'll continue to bring you the latest information we have on the arrest of 2 suspects in the murder of James Jordan.
You know, the thing that I remember the most about my father, and, you know, I had him for 32 years, you know, and I never look at it from a negative sense. Obviously, he was murdered, you know, but the thing that I do remember all the time, you know, I think about him practically every day, is for a person like myself who live in the spotlight, and the thing he's always said, take a pause before you make a decision and say, what if?
What is still unclear and will be for some time is what effect this tragedy will have on Michael Jordan and his future with the Chicago Bulls.
Basketball? I haven't even thought about basketball. I didn't even think about basketball before all this happened. So right now, you know, everything's tentative for my schedule from this point on.
I've talked to all my family, my friends. I'm very solid with my decision of not to play the game of basketball. Will I ever unretire? I don't know. If I desire to come back and play again, maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe that's the challenge that I may need someday down the road.
If you walk through a crowd with Jordan, I asked, what do you see in the crowd? And he said, sometimes I'll see a father and a son. They may not think I've even noticed them. I wonder if they have any idea how much I'd like to be them.
When my father died, I was lucky that he was there when I needed him, that he could influence my life to look at situations that I use to help make my decisions to this day. Some kids never have that. Sure, I would love to have him now, but people are put on this earth for a reason, and you utilize the time that you're here. You never know when that's going to be taken away from you. But while they're here, they should make an impact on someone's life. Father kept kind of hinting towards me playing baseball. Don't be afraid to try. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't pan out the way that you envision it. But at least you know that by giving it a shot.
Every day, the first person there before the sun would be Jordan. And he was there because he wasn't good. He would work with a batting instructor and work all day long and be the last person to leave.
Not everyone is happy about Jordan's presence, including some teammates.
I resent it in a way that, you know, this is all I've worked for my whole life, and then a guy can come right in, get the opportunity that I've been looking for.
I think, you know, it's a case of a guy who's got some connections and has a big name, you know, taking advantage of it.
People were basically saying that I didn't have no reason to be in the sport, and I was degrading the sport. When those negative things start to happen, the only thing, I wish my father was there to give me the positive reinforcements that I needed.
I asked him what it was like for him in the morning, and Jordan said, I get up before the sun comes up, and I get in the car, and I'm driving to spring training, and I look at the seat next to me, and I see my dad, and I talk to him. I think to myself, Pops, we're doing this. We're doing this together.
2 RBI single to right center field.
Got it in the air. Michael Jordan's first try on a fly ball. You betcha.
Call up in the 7th. It's a fly ball. That's deep. Upfield. That's back and gone.
Michael Jordan with his first professional home run.
Michael Jordan was pegged for the Chicago White Sox AA club, but he refused to challenge the baseball union, and Jordan left camp last week.
And he walked out of the White Sox training camp, having earlier vowed not to get in the middle of the strike.
Frustrated by the labor dispute, Jordan quit his baseball career 2 weeks ago and then began secret workouts with the Bulls.
Jordan, the former 3-time MVP, has been practicing for the last couple of days with his old Bulls club.
Would you like to see him come back?
Yes, I would. I think that he would be a good addition to this game.
I wouldn't be surprised anything Michael does. He's full of surprises. So
he walked in this morning and shook my hand, said, it's a done deal.
Well, it's been quite a 17-month journey for Air Jordan.
Well, he's not going to come back unless he's going to come back with a bang and he's looking good. You can believe that.
Hey, what number, by the way, is Michael going to wear? Do we know?
Well, I assume it's 23, but people are speculating he might wear his baseball number 45.
When I was down in minor league baseball, I didn't feel as connected because I wasn't playing, and I knew that I could be a part of it. It's like a bully of the neighborhood taking advantage of your kid brother when you know the big brother's not around.
Depending on where Michael is, physically and mentally, is going to have a say on how far Chicago is able to go and where they're able to end the season.
I've always been known as a player who could finish off a team. Here I was in one of those moments, and yet I let the team down.
It hasn't gotten much worse than this for the Chicago Bulls.
Tonight, and despite the prohibition of wearing number 23 by the NBA, Michael is wearing it anyway.
Felt like 45 wasn't natural. I wanted to go back to the feeling I had with 23.
Jordan with the block of Shaquille O'Neal.
Michael has not been able to sustain the effort over the course of a game.
Does Jordan have the legs to last throughout the playoffs?
You're looking at an exhausted Michael Jordan. Tough shot by Michael. Air ball.
I didn't have enough time to get my body back to a basketball body.
I don't remember seeing Michael Jordan this tired. This is unbelievable.
And the Bulls season comes to an end here at the United Center tonight.
That was one of Michael's lowest points, is when they came back and they didn't win. That's what he took to heart. He used that for that next year.
The Bulls missed that power forward, that rebounder, that defensive presence with the loss of Horace Grant.
That 94-95 season, we struggled.
Of all the offseason moves in the NBA, none got more attention. Trade of Dennis Rodman to the Chicago Bulls.
Maybe he's going to take all the rings off and go straight on us.
No, I don't think he's going to do that now.
I think I've got bored with a lot of things in this game, and I hope for this year, have fun again.
I don't think any of us are going to come here with green hair, red hair, and earrings in our nose either.
You're not going to reinvent yourself. Huh?
No, man.
You're not going to come back and be straight.
The planet's best rebounder is also one of its most eccentric characters, the Worm. Does his personality detract from the skills he brings to the arena?
Hey. Rodman has restored the rebounding presence that disappeared when Horace Grant left for Orlando.
Dominant defensive player.
I knew Dennis, and I knew what he could do.
I'm just wanting to do my part.
Corner, and Rodman pulls it down.
I'm not Michael Jordan, I'm Scottie Pippen. I don't have those skills. Those people that come to these games see a guy that's working his butt off, and basically that's how I get my fame.
They were on it from jump.
It's not individual, it's a team situation.
Question is now, who can beat the Chicago Bulls? They're styling right now.
You know, it seems like whenever we're in a tight spot, Michael just turns up the jets a little bit.
12 straight by Jordan, 12 straight.
And everybody realized that this guy was back in his full force.
Well, if the Bulls win 70 tonight, they go down in history as possibly the best team of all time.
There it is. 70 has become a reality for the Chicago Bulls.
been waiting for. Consider this to be the two best teams in the NBA.
If you know MJ, only thing he was doing is having Orlando Magic on his mind.
18-footers scored.
Michael taps himself on the chest as if to say, gotta do it, man. You gotta do it.
Pippen jam. Michael for the jam.
They are befuddling the Orlando Magic.
It's all over. The Bulls win it.
The Bulls have swept the Magic. A superb performance by the Chicago Bulls.
This year's Chicago Bulls squad just may go down as the greatest team of all time.
72-10 don't mean a thing without a ring.
He was superb this year, and he hasn't stopped.
With due respect to the Seattle Supersonics, the prevailing attitude in Chicago, this is viewed as the greatest mismatch in NBA Finals history.
From the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, welcome to the 1996 NBA Final.
It's up to the Sonics to convince the Bulls and the basketball public that they have come here as true foes, not mere foils.
This night held the promise of immortality.
Let's get down for our crown.
They call him the glove.
A lot of people back down to Mike.
Payton's loose. Open basket. Jams it home.
I didn't.
The glove.
Jordan against Payton.
I had no problem with Gary Payton. I had a lot of other things on my mind.
Happy Father's Day again.
Now they're back in the finals, and his father wasn't there to share it with them.
A piece of Michael's heart was missing.
He said, "Mom, I know he's there. He's watching. He sees."
I'll be right there. I'll be his #1 fan. I always do.
Jordan. Oh, listen to the crowd. The Bulls on fire. Now it is Kukoc fires. Yes.
The strong survive.
Michael wants to make a statement. He's making it.
I think they're absolutely one of the greatest. They've delivered all year long.
Chicago Bulls are closing in now on that championship. The crowd is up. Michael Jordan.
The Chicago Bulls have won the 95-96 NBA championship.
On Father's Day, what it means to me. I know he's watching. To my wife, to my kids, to my mother, my brothers and sisters. This is my daddy.
And this championship placed the Chicago Bulls among the storied teams in NBA and sports history.
It's getting tougher. Just from facing all the different challenges or staying on top. It's like the king of the hill. I mean, everybody's going to be coming at you and trying to knock you off.
What time is it? Game time.
But each time you win, it's more gratifying, that you withstood all the challenges, and yet here you are again, right back on top.
Building, loving it. On that side. Moore with 3 with 1.
Good, baby.
Michael got it.
Salute together the greatest NBA players of all time.
Oh, he did it. Michael shakes the finger. And this year's three-point shooting champion, Steve Kerr.
Welcome to Chicago for the NBA World Championship Game 1.
Now Malone rolls past it.
Michael left to right, 15-footer good. Back to Stock, three-pointer. He got it.
Tied at 82.
Bulls get a last chance.
Here is Michael, 4 on the shot clock.
Michael hangs, fires.
Karl Malone was the most valuable player that year.
Banks into Rodman goes up and scores.
That fueled the fire in me.
NBA's most valuable player and the guy who many feel should have won this year's MVP award.
Jordan's physical conditions. He is suffering from flu-like symptoms.
I didn't want to give up. No matter how sick I was, how tired I was, how low on energy I was, I felt the obligation to my team, to the city of Chicago, to go out and give that extra effort.
Jordan is absolutely exhausted and worn out. He's the guttiest performance maybe all time. The drive for 5 will end right where it started. Bulls will be crowned kings of the hill once again.
Dennis fires a 3. Got it.
putting on a show for the fans here.
By no means do we want to give this up to win championship. This is a dream.
It's all falling apart for the Jazz right now.
It is Michael Jordan time.
Michael, 6 seconds, 5. Michael in traffic to Kerr. 15-footer.
5 seconds. Have won their 5th championship in the last 7 years. It is all over. The Bulls have won the title.
As the Chicago Bulls began the 1997-98 season, with 5 NBA championships, the Bulls posed the question, why shouldn't this amazing club win another? Why shouldn't the incomparable Michael Jordan lead his team to an epic height, to a place where only emperors go? It was a last dance, said Coach Jackson, a farewell tour for the dynasty. There was never an empty seat to see the Bulls. Everywhere this group went, the lights came on and the people came out. But through it all, they never flinched.
If this were to be the last dance, they were determined to make it one to remember.
We're entitled to defend what we have until we lose it.
Thanks for the past. Enjoy the moment. Let's make sure we end it right.
What time is it? Game time!
Pippen in the passing lane again.
Rodman battling for the rebound.
Jordan, look out. 3 in a row.
Here you see Kobe Bryant, the man many have dubbed the next Michael Jordan.
They said, Kobe, you get ready to be the man at the All-Star game. But we can't forget the king is still on the court.
Michael comes out and he's saying, not tonight, young fella.
Tonight, the Bulls officially begin defense of their 5th NBA championship.
Michael played every game as if it was his last. Every single game. There was never a day off. He knew that there was going to be somebody in that crowd that never saw him play before. That's what kept him going.
Jordan on point. Chicago Bulls sweep for first round series.
That's how I tried to play. I played for them. Started with hope. We went from a shitty team to one of the all-time best dynasty. All you needed was one little match to start that whole fire.
Jordan with a turnaround over Armstrong.
Off a Devon screen to the right wing, pull up, pop, there's goal.
Now B.J. Armstrong, the former Chicago Bull.
I felt like BJ should know better. If you're gonna high five, talk trash, now I had a bone to pick with you.
Michael holds himself to such a high level. You know, when you've played as long as he did, at the level he did.
Bulls knock out the Hornets and will now face the Indiana Pacers.
He constructed reasons to play hard. These little slights were deep indignations to him. That's all he needs.
The playoffs is the playoffs. To be able to play against the best competition, that was the driving force for me, without a doubt.
That series with Indiana was the hardest playoff series we had. They were big, they were strong, they were physical.
If I had to pick a team that gave us the toughest time in the East, Indiana was probably, they were tough.
We were confident that we can dethrone the Bulls. We got a squad. Reggie Miller, our Hall of Famer.
He had Michael Jordan, and there was still time on the clock.
Who goes to Michael at the buzzer?
He knocks to Jordan. He got it off. He spun out. Unbelievable.
I don't care what happens today. I still got to come through Chicago.
All of a sudden, a bolt of electricity went through the building.
We have the better team. I really do believe that. But championship DNA, championship experience really rose to the forefront in Game 7 for Chicago.
People really didn't want to believe a man could actually fly. He gave everyone that belief. that maybe they could.
Here comes the crowd and here come the Bulls. They are running the Pacers out of the building and on to the final. For the 6th time in 8 years go the Chicago Bulls. It was a mountain to climb and they barely reached the summit.
Tonight, Game 1 of the NBA World Championship.
The Chicago Bulls are back again. It's the 6th time in this decade they haven't lost.
After they lost the year before, Utah came back. They were better the next year.
Knowing that this is the last dance, trying to muster up the energy to finish this off. We were mentally, physically exhausted, but we didn't lose focus of what we were trying to achieve.
Dennis was one of the smartest guys I played with. He had no limits.
The thing I like about Scotty is he got tougher and tougher as the years went on.
I am here to announce my retirement from the game of basketball.
The way he's carried himself and what he's done for this sport in general and for people, he's allowed them to dream.
I chose to walk away knowing that I could still play the game. That's exactly the way I wanted to end it.
This guy was just an icon. He's a one-man show. And how much we're going to miss him, you can't even say in words.
The game of basketball has been everything to me. It's been a source of intense pain, a source of most intense feelings of joy and satisfaction.
His enthusiasm and love of the game, his reluctancy to accept greatness, but to be great is what makes him Michael Jordan.
I don't look at this moment as a defining end to my relationship with the game of basketball. It's simply a continuation of something that I started a long time ago.
Michael just seems to have almost a little magic with him.
Open.
That's exciting. It's fun to watch. It's stuff that the legends are made of.
Never say never.
Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion.